team's been through a lot off the court. How does being a part of a team like this help you guys cope with stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's great knowing that you have so many people to lean on and so many people to help. A lot of our teammates are far from their families. Obviously, that's not the case for myself, but like for most of my teammates, they're far from their families. And when in the recruiting process, like they are very clear that it's a family type of atmosphere, and we're going to look out for one another, and that extends through the whole staff and the players as well. And that's what we try to do. I know that like guys like myself, guys like Peyton, guys like Tony take a lot of pride in like looking out for younger guys and trying to guide them through tough times. It's not an easy transition for anybody, and then especially when you add some external factors with whatever the case is, things become much more stressful, and it can be really difficult. So being able to have other guys to lean on and just somebody to vent to and talk to is something that's really cool.
You could come back.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not going to come back next year?
I mean, okay, like I'm not going to say nothing is 100% guaranteed, but yes, I could come back. As of right now, the plan is that I'm going to move on. But anything is possible in this day and age. So.
Did you give yourself a timetable to finally say, or are you just going to kind of?
No, yeah, it's not the same as like when Caitlin had to make her decision. Like I don't have to decide 3 days after the season.
Sure.
Like I get a lot of time. So there's no reason for me to rush into anything, but obviously, like I said no right away. I probably shouldn't have, but it just depends on the circumstances.
But would you consider going somewhere else, college next year?
That I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be hard, but yeah, I don't know. I'd have to think deeper about that.
Okay.
Do you know what you'd like to do in years to come?
I'm gonna try to play wherever I can in whatever capacity that is, for as long as I can. And then probably we'll move into try to get on staff somewhere and coach. Probably is the next logical step for me. But definitely going to try to play, whether it's domestically or abroad, wherever I can go.
Are you coaching against Connor someday? That would be like.
Hopefully we coach together. That would be good. But if we had to coach against each other, then yeah, that'd be an interesting dynamic.
I don't think your mom was encouraging you guys to get in the family business kind of thing.
She hates it.
Has she approved that?
No, I have to talk to her about that. But I still see my playing career extending pretty far, into the future. So that's kind of what's on my mind right now. Obviously, things can change in the blink of an eye. You never know, but yeah, and like, who knows? It's hard to really like decide what you want to do until you actually have to make a legitimate decision. So I'm not there yet. First instinct is the coach, but maybe something in administration as well, something like that could be interesting to me.
It's how this season plays out. Will that have any bearing on what you ultimately decide about coming back next year?
Yes and no. Like it definitely could. But also, it would be a decision just for myself personally. Sure. Like, obviously, I love every single teammate I have here and that I've ever had here, except for maybe a couple. But I love all of our staff. I love the University of Iowa. So whatever decision I make would be in no way endearing the University of Iowa. Like I love it here. But it would just be a decision that I would have to make for myself, and it's something that is something I'll have to decide within the near future.
What has this experience been like for you? Playing for your dad, playing with your brother.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been what you had hoped it would be?
Yeah, I mean, we were here when he got his 500th win. We were here when he broke the school record. I mean, I've played on my first year. I sat, but I was on the team. I was on 4 tournament teams with a chance to be a 5th. Like, I think, is that the longest stretch in school history, I think, of tournament teams in a row, if we were to make it. And really, we've already made it that because we would have made it the COVID year if we didn't get to.
Could be 6 in a row.
Yeah, so I'm counting that. But so if we were to make a run here and make it again, like that would be, a lot in a row. So that's really cool to me that I was a part of all of those teams, that I was a good player on good teams. Reached some key milestones throughout my individual career, and then obviously, being able to win the Big Ten championship a couple years ago. We have another chance to do it in about a week, but to win it a couple years ago was something super special and a moment I'll never forget. And those are memories and stuff that'll last forever. And obviously, a lot of BS's came with it too, right? Playing with your dad, it's not always going to be perfect. We lose Connor and I take a brunt of, kind of what happened, and it's just kind of the nature of what happens in this business, and we knew what we signed up for. But overall, I wouldn't trade the experiences and relationships I have for anything, no matter the ups or downs that we had to deal with. And so I'm forever grateful that I chose to play here.
If you could give advice to the version of yourself that just got to Iowa to start college, what would you say?
It's a good question. I'll probably say stop talking so much and listen, and like really like embrace and look out for the people around you, because like they're not going to be there forever. I've played with so many different guys, and there's so many guys that I love and miss. I'm not going to start naming people because then I'm going to forget somebody, but there's so many guys that I've played with that I wish were still here, but they've graduated or moved on. So just, really take those moments in and really embrace all those times, and embrace the good times and the bad, I think, is another important one. Like it's never gonna, nothing is perfect. It's never gonna be perfect. You have to embrace the bad times as much as you embrace the good, because joy wouldn't feel so good if it wasn't for pain. So
What's happened with this team the last 4, 5, 6 games that sort of elevated it?
yeah, I think we figured some stuff out. You early on in the year, it's like a very major learning curve. Last year it was different because we had a lot of guys who were returners. We return guys like Connor, who was in his 6th year, myself, who would have been my 2nd year starting, Tony, who had started the second half of the previous season, Philip, who started every game, Chris, who had played a lot. So we had returned a lot of guys, so it was just a different experience. This year we have 4 freshmen, 2 transfers, 2 new walk-ons. Like, it was a whole new group, and it took us a while, I think, to kind of figure out what was needed to win at this level, and that's the case, I think, for a lot of different teams. It took us a little bit to mesh, and you have to go through things, and you have to see and experience different scenarios, different environments, things of that nature, in order to really continue to evolve and grow as individuals, and then ultimately as a team. And so I think we've really done that throughout the year, and we're playing our best basketball, I think, right now. So I'm excited to continue to move forward, and I know we have a ton of guys playing with a lot of confidence, and I'm really excited.
I had some people tell me they think this is your dad's best coaching here at Iowa this season, everything you guys have been through. Just what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I've never really thought about it, because he approaches every day and every practice, every game the same way. So it's not like the personnel and everything changes, and he might call different plays that cater to different people. But overall, he's been doing it for over 40 years. Like, probably not going to change very much. He can be pretty stubborn sometimes. So I think it's just kind of like he just approaches every day the same way, and so I think that's what's led him to have as much consistency as he has throughout his career, and why he's won as many games as he has. Yeah, I think it's easy to point out like how at the beginning of the year we sucked, and then now we've worked our way up to be pretty good. But I think a lot of that just had to do with you have to go through things, and you have to learn and grow from certain situations, and there's things you can't simulate in practice, and we found that out, and but we've learned and we've grown, and I think that's all you can ask for as a coach and as a player, as a teammate.
What's it say about this team? What happened Saturday? Those last kind of 3 possessions where Josh gets a bucket, and then Peyton gets a bucket, and then Tony finds you. It's 3 different guys making huge plays where, in past games, maybe past season, maybe it's Luka or Chris or Keegan that would just go get a bucket. That you guys have kind of that shared responsibility with this team.
Yeah, I think we have at least 6 guys who have scored 20 points in a game this year, maybe even more. But I think we have at least 6. Is it 6? It's 6. That's important. I don't think in years past that's necessarily been the case, mainly because guys like Keegan, Chris, Luka were shooting a lot of shots, so it was hard for anybody else to get 20. But no, so we have 6 different guys who it can all hurt you when we move and we share the ball, and our a lot of continuity on offense. We play together, and our free-flowing kind of offense is hard for other teams to scout and look at. But yeah, I think we have a lot of different weapons and a lot of guys who are more than capable players in this league, and have proven that in certain instances multiple years for different guys. So we have a lot of guys who are capable, and I think that's why a lot of teams that's why now we found our group, I think a lot of people are scared to see us.
The darkest hour is right before the dawn. What about that resonated with you enough to get that
Yeah.
on your arm?
I saw it in Batman or The Dark Knight. It's like my favorite movie, and it's it's a lot of things like happen. There's a bunch of quotes you can use that are essentially mean the same thing. But like, if it really hurts that bad, it means that you're close, like to a breakthrough. There's certain times where I've, with what I've dealt with personally, where I've been in a lot of pain, like had a hard time, and then you always feel the best when that kind of is over. So it's just kind of a constant reminder to, kind of embrace that, and you know that it's not going to storm forever, and you're going to eventually, be able to break through, and that's when, real change is made, and that's when you start to feel much better and really good, and that's kind of what I've come to realize throughout my 23, almost 24 years of life.
What are your expectations for the crowd on Sunday?
I would hope it's pretty good, but I don't know. Our crowds have been pretty bad most of the year, with the exception to a couple of games. So who knows? I hope it's good. Would be ideal, but can't rely on that. We got to show up, prepare, and try to do what we've been doing, and keep it rolling.
All right, thanks, Patrick.